Our next speaker is a sales engineer of RSA NetWitness and is responsible for Southeast Asia's businesses. He has traveled extensively around the world, sharing his knowledge across vast cybersecurity topics with customers, and has established himself as a trusted advisor in helping organizations in their cybersecurity journey. To talk about managing security operations in the new normal, here is Mr. Eugene Ho, sales engineer of RSA NetWitness.
Hi. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining me today. My name is Eugene, Sales Engineer, APAC region for RSA NetWitness business. Now, today we are going to look at how the pandemic has changed the way we work, collaborate, and use data. Businesses are rapidly accelerating their transformation to adapt to the new normal. Now, the question is our security operations folks catching up with those changes? If not, then how can we empower our SOC to be more effective, efficient, and continue to provide the level of monitoring needed? Now, if we look back 5 to 10 years ago, securing a company's critical assets was pretty much straightforward. Employees access data and resources that were located on premises, typically within a physical location. Right? And those employees are also subjected to access controls. So only resources granted, so they can only access resources that was granted to them. Remote workers, in this sense, could be easily secured with the use of VPN technologies. This established a very strong perimeter defense, and our SOC sees and monitors everything. Now, fast forward to today, we are seeing more and more resources moving to the cloud, and especially so with the current pandemic. This is more prevalent than before. More and more employees are accessing data and resources from anywhere and everywhere. The same resources are also needed to be accessed by our partners and vendors alike. And in some cases, we're also seeing that employees are accessing cloud-based resources directly, completely bypassing the organization's physical facilities. Now, combining everything together, this means that you once secured perimeter that we enjoyed, right? It is now eroding and no longer offers the same level of protection. In order to combat this increased risk and attack surface, organizations have adopted technologies such as secure web gateways, identity management, cloud access security brokers, CASBs, right? In a bid to move towards what is known as zero trust architecture. Now, is that really true? Let's take a look at what zero trust is. So basically, zero trust is contains 7 guidelines called tenets, right? So if we look at tenet 2, it says that all communications is secured regardless of network location. Tenet 7 says that the enterprise must collect as much information as possible, right, about assets, about network infrastructure, communications, and subsequently use this information to improve their security posture. Now, in a nutshell, if I were to summarize everything for you, it basically means that you need to have visibility and control, which is exactly what you would need in a traditional architecture, just that it has greater enforcement in the zero trust architecture. Now, the keyword that we need to take note here is pervasive visibility, right? So we will understand more about this keyword later on in our slides. Now, what that means that security technologies such as software web gateways, SaaS, cloud workloads, typically they already have controls built in, right? So organizations are able to enforce controls on those points directly. But what about the visibility, right? We have seen that many organizations have placed more emphasis on the control piece. while visibility took a back seat, right? That created new gaps and major blind spots, right, for our SOC folks, right? Because they are still leveraging on technologies such as log-based SIM and EDR. Visibility is severely reduced and it leaves the SOC blind, right? Without active monitoring on these areas, our SOC folks cannot get the visibility they need to perform their jobs effectively. Now, this is a very interesting thing because I do have customers asking me, where's my impact if those infrastructure does not belong to me? Well, that's true to a certain extent, but remember that your organization's data resides in those SaaS, those technologies that you have adopted. A very simple example would be Microsoft O365, right? So your files are technically in the cloud. So, and the security of those files, not the architecture, still ultimately belongs to you. Now, we also look at some of the uncontrollable changes that further worsens the situation that we are in. Right? The level of security awareness of employees are not the same, right? So when they are working from home, there is no way for us to understand what the behavior of these employees could be, right? We also see the problem of shared devices. The same corporate device that was brought home for the use of work could be shared with other family members. One great example would be our home-based learning, where our children might be attending school from home, and sometimes they will need to use these devices. Now, home networks are definitely for sure, they are going to be risky because they are not as well secured and protected as a corporate network. Security controls that you have implemented within your corporate environment, by and large, they do not apply anymore in a home network, right? So if your employees does not connect back using a VPN connection, that connection is not going to be secured. Now, protecting devices also pose another challenge, right? With your employees working from home, working remotely, it is a huge challenge to ensure the compliance of these devices, such as ensuring that they are patched on time, ensuring that their antivirus are updated on time, right? Those are challenges that's related to having a very dynamic workforce. Now, we also look at how the environment has changed itself since COVID, right? So we are seeing that hackers have gone a step further, right? And taking advantage of the current crisis by targeting employees with COVID-19 themed phishing attacks, right, in order to exfiltrate key information and obtain credentials, business data, as well as personal information. Hackers have also recently targeted COVID-19 vaccine test centers and medical centers through the use of ransomware, and they are publishing those data online for ransom. They are also calling up, by the use of voice calls, calling up gullible users by impersonating law enforcement or medical authority officials to infiltrate their systems or endpoints for financial gain. They may also pose as users or employees, the other way around, to trick IT staff to gain network access for organizations. Now let's take a look at how businesses are impacted. So one thing that is, based on a Microsoft blog report, we have seen some figures being published. So first of all, we see that 58% of business owners have responded that they will be that their security budgets have increased, and 82% of them plan on adding security staff. However, a vast majority of them, 81%, feel the pressure to lower security costs, and that is pretty much based on the fact that due to the current situation, it is unclear how the environment will continue to impact organizations and their ability to operate smoothly. Now, when we look, we also look at some of the implications to our SOC folks, right? Our analysts, the people doing the job. They are used to working with several monitors, with big keyboards and things like that. However, now with them working from home, they are restricted to just probably a laptop and maybe one screen, right? It is not possible to generate the same productivity while working from home. On top of that, they have to handle multi-point products, right? This is unable to provide a very holistic view, right? It makes investigation and analytics so much harder than it already is. Now, the job of an analyst has a relatively high burnout and turnover rate, right? This is not surprising, right? Because the majority of a SOC analyst job is simply just getting through the noise as best as they can, looking for that signal, that indicator that something is wrong, right? It feels like a losing battle with a bunch of raw and uncurated alerts to go through. And sometimes, with all these issues, the lack of proper hardware, the multi-point products, multiple screens, they are just making the job really, really difficult for our analysts. Now, I also not forgetting, right? According to a 2020 data breach investigation report, not all attacks are from the outside, right? From this report, we see that 30% of breaches are actually being triggered by internal actors, right? Whether intentional or unintentional. Now, how can we adapt? How do we pivot ourselves to fix those gaps, to cover those gaps, and ensure that we enjoy the same security as before, or even improving our security posture? Now, as what we have published in our marketing, 3 simple steps. Step 1, people. Start off by adapting different resourcing models. Recognize the new norm. Provide focused training, in the way of identified skill set gaps for your analysts, right? If that is not possible, then augment manpower or skill set limitation with outsourcing models. Right? Facilitate communications. Business owners definitely need to understand what the new security risks are. Create a threat taxonomy for effective communication and advocate such information to be shared among your peers and partners. Now, on the process piece, reevaluate your existing policies and procedures. Right? Develop a comprehensive strategy, review and test established process against the new norm, and continuously refine your IR and breach management procedures, right, to respond to these new identified threats. Strengthen up your use cases, continuously refine your SOC use cases and prioritize them. With your employees now working from home, the use cases ought to be different, right? And ensure that they reflect the new threat landscape. Now, the third thing will be on orchestration. Document your processes for consistency and continuous improvement. Orchestrate your workflows in a unified platform during an incident and streamline your operations through prioritization and automation. Now, lastly, will be on technology. Achieve pervasive visibility. Now, what is pervasive visibility? It simply means you see everything and everywhere that is related to your data. That means all your logs, all your endpoints, all your networks, including your cloud resources, right, where your data resides. Visibility into cloud workloads, analyzing all your logs, your network, and endpoint, right? Leverage on threat intelligence, build threat intelligence into your program to further improve your detection rates. Now, automate your threat hunting also to identify active threats quicker. Automate tasks within your investigation workflows, especially low severity incidents, and consolidate your product lines for efficiencies and cost savings. So instead of having multiple screens, multiple point products, wouldn't it be easier and cheaper to have just one single screen, one single product that consolidates everything together? Now, with ISA, we have a pretty good idea of a technology that is going to help you with at least 50% of what you see on the screen right now, and that would be XDR. Right? So RSA NetWitness XDR covers that process and technology piece to enable you to reach that goal. Now, you may ask, what is XDR? Right? So let's take a look. Right, market analyst at Gartner says that XDR is a SaaS-based, vendor-specific. Now, the keyword is vendor-specific, which means one vendor. Security threat detection and incident response tool, right, that integrates multiple security products into a cohesive security operation system. Now, that means that, very simple, that XDR, extended detection and response, should cover, should protect all of the attack vectors you see on this screen, from identity, your endpoints, your devices in the cloud, your edge devices that's connecting to the cloud, your network, as well as your cloud itself, right? And all these vectors form the XDR security ecosystem in order to gain the visibility from all these vantage points. Now, RSA NetWitness platform for XDR provides organizations the capability to analyze and alert on these threats by our 4 key pillars: detect, prioritize, investigate, and lastly, automate them. RSA NetWitness for XDR utilizes intelligent metadata from across your network and endpoints to identify anomalies in behavior. This exposes hidden and unknown attacker behaviors, such as access remote tools, hidden tunnels, backdoors, so on and so forth. Through a proven and unique combination of network traffic analysis, behavioral analysis, endpoint analysis, data science techniques, and threat intelligence, RSA NetWitness platform for XDR detects known and unknown attacks by exposing the full scope of an attack and automatically providing unparalleled network and endpoint visibility, connecting incidents over time to deliver deeper insights from machine learning. Now, RSA NetWitness platform brings about the ability to detect, prioritize, automate, and investigate threats with a single unified platform for all your data. The only solution that normalizes all data by combining threat detection analytics with network and endpoint telemetry, investigation, and threat intelligence capabilities in order to defend against threats. With our integrated threat and business context, organizations can prioritize threats based on the potential impact to their business. RSA NetWitness platform also makes use of automated user behavior analytics to look for potentially malicious issues across disparate data sets, as well as correlate data across full network packets and endpoints with a focus on all prime attack vectors for today's advanced threats. We also enable rapid investigations by providing an advanced analyst workbench to triage alerts and incidents, including an interface designed specifically for security investigations. Utilizing a deep insight into data from across the infrastructure allow analysts to natively and visually reconstruct a network attack or data exfiltration in its entirety. It also enables security analysts to have a consistent, transparent, and documented threat investigations and threat hunting capabilities by leveraging on RSA NetWitness orchestrators' vast threat intelligence to automate detection of potential incidents and automatically collect evidences and complete tasks for quicker resolution and better efficiency. Our architecture is also extremely flexible and scalable, and we do that by offering a wide range of flexible deployment options. Our platform can scale incrementally according to an organization's needs and security priorities, whether deployed in the cloud, on-premise, or even virtually. RSA NetWitness platform for XDR can support it all. Now, RSA has been a leader in the space of cybersecurity for quite a while now. Right? We have a tremendous history of being at the forefront of critical areas and digital evolution, from groundbreaking encryption to driving one of the earliest digital transformation through the creation of certificate authorities. And we have been delivering solutions for over 35 years now. We protect millions of users around the world and more than 90% of the Fortune 500 companies. We also have a history of recognition from analyst firms such as Gartner and Forrester in multiple reports. We deliver unified capabilities in 4 essential areas of business-driven security. Now, within RSA, there's also 700 security practitioners, and a global ecosystem of over 400 partners. Our vision is aligned with new requirements being placed on risk and security functions today. And we will be the strategic partner you need to deliver success to your business. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.